Alright, so let's quickly start off by fixing up some of the aesthetics. I know we do a little bit of that in every video, but it just keeps things nice and clean because we don't want to end up with a really ugly app by the end of this. So we put so much time into it. Let's go ahead and just fix up this button. First thing I want to do is I want to add a shadow of 3, and I want to get rid of this padding. So I'm going to get rid of the padding at the bottom. Okay, actually, instead of getting rid of it, I'm going to just only put it on the top. I need some on the top. I'll put a top padding of 10, and I'll get rid of the corner radius. I'll still keep that shadow of 3. And underneath the frame height, I'm actually going to put a frame, let's say max width of dot infinity. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually turning that. I kind of did some fiddling around. I'm creating this like a straight bar around the bottom here, and this is kind of what it's going to look like for the rest of it. So I'll save that. Let's check that off the list. All right, shadow for button, boom, gone. You might want to pause, and we're going to create 4 colors. These are going to be our standard colors, okay? So our colors are going to be the following. You'll go to your structs and enums classes, and underneath global environment, we had created some colors. I want you to create these colors right here, okay? You can name them whatever you want, but this is what I chose to name mine, okay? And they are based actually off of, if I can find it, it's right over here. So I really like this website actually. I was recently introduced to it. It's color.adobe.com/ and then you can actually just do /create, okay? And you can kind of fiddle around with these and you can create your own colors. I thought this was really nice, and I think this one must have been like shades or something like that. And I just picked a dimension, you know. I picked something I liked, and there are some really nice things that can come out of here. So I really recommend you try this out. Monochromatic even. I'm pretty sure monochromatic is what I use because this looks a lot like the color set we're using, okay? So, moving forward, let's see. The next thing we want to do is, all right, so I want to grab, let's go inside here, go to the new post view, okay? I'm going to fold a lot of this code up. So I'm going to fold up this Z stack that had the image, okay? And then this H stack had the ingredients. So what I need to do is I'm going to select all that. I'm going to cut it, okay? And sorry, this needs to be radius of 3 for that shadow we created a second ago, okay? And what I need to do is I need to create a new V stack right up here, okay? V stack. And that V stack is going to contain everything from up here all the way to down here, including the spacer that's down here, okay? So I'm going to grab all that and put that inside of the V stack, okay? So now this is technically one level deeper. So is this, okay? And so is this. If anything, I would actually select everything, Control I. Everything is nice and re-indented now, okay? So now that you've made that V stack, that background that we cut a second ago, that light gray, I'm going to actually put that on the V stack itself. Boom. All right. Next, I'm going to go to the scroll views and fix up some of the aesthetics there. So if we go into that V stack we just created, go to the first H stack, that's where we have these items, okay? This scroll view when we start to have actual content, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find where we had padding here, okay? And that padding, I'm going to give it a padding of just 5, okay? Instead of the default padding it originally had, okay? So I'm going to give that, let's see what we had on the list. We had scroll views of steps. Yeah, give them a padding of 5. Great. And then for these titles, we don't want the old titles we had, right? This, you know, obviously ours was in yellow, but this whole formatting that was originally with them, I'm going to get rid of that. And instead, I'm going to put, I'm going to grab, let's look at the list of attributes I wanted to add. I'm going to grab all that, okay? And there we go. So I'm going to add font of headline. We're going to keep that, okay? I haven't tried this out yet, but I think I'm actually going to make these capital. I'm just kind of in that mood, to be honest. Okay, and make sure you give it a frame max width of dot infinity, max width, okay? Padding of 10, background of dark blue, and foreground color of white, okay? And so what that does is it expands it all the way out, okay? So I'm going to save that. And then if I did that there, then I also need to do the same thing where we had steps, okay? So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to scroll down to where we had steps. I'm going to paste it and just change it to steps. Okay? Save. Might even clean it really quick. Okay. While that's going, let's check out the next thing we wanted to do. So don't forget that if we also needed to come here, we almost did the same. That's one problem with having things coded kind of twice, is that padding. When we change that padding to 5, we need to do the same thing down here in steps as well. So 5, okay? So save that. Get rid of all that. Boom. Next, we need to add the following styling to the button in the absence of items in each list. Okay, so what we need to do actually is, in general, the text alignment for this button. So what we're modifying is, save it, run it. Let's do it while it's building, and then we'll talk about what it is. So right here for this button right here, where to add some steps, we're going to do dot multi-line text alignment. Just wanted it to. Pretty sure I got all that spelling right. I really do prefer that we have the autocomplete on, but let's just look at what it's. Multi-line text alignment. What we're going to need to add is both of these items, okay? Just going to copy and paste it. So multi-line text alignment of dot center and a dot frame with a max width of infinity. Okay? This guy's trying to build, and while it's building, I'm just going to talk about something else really quick. So big shout out here to flaticon.com. Okay, Flaticon is actually where I took the time to build, to create this PNG. So I had a different PNG that I was dealing with. It was a black one and did not have this plus, okay? So I took it into Photoshop and I added a gradient, and that's the new PNG that we have, okay? So that will actually be, so if you open up the files, you can actually find the files for this project at the link in the description. So you'll find this zip, okay? It'll say zip for part 18. And you can go to the code. In resources, you will find both the Photoshop file and the PNG, okay? So you're going to want to drag this PNG into, when you download it, you're going to want to drag that PNG into your image assets file or folder here, and we're going to use it later. Keep it named pasta icon for now if you want your code to look exactly like mine. So that is going to be, that icon is going to be, let's find our speed here, is going to be replacing the icon we originally had here, okay? So that's the first thing I want you to take note of. The second thing I want you to take note of is that multi-line text alignment.center. That's going to be centering this text, and that in conjunction with the max width. If we just do the multi-line text alignment centered, it's going to center these two lines above each other, but they'll also be pushed to the left because we had a VStack alignment of dot leading within that scroll view. So you need to actually do both this and this in order for it to actually fill up the entire width. Okay? So now once this finishes building, we'll continue on looking at what we've made in the changes. Here's what we have. So we need to get rid of this space here. We need to finish changing this icon. So if you did what I said and you dragged it into your assets folder, let's go ahead up top first. And let's look at that Z-stack. Okay, so now instead of having it say image camera, we can actually just kind of have it say pasta underscore icon. Okay, I'm going to do one other thing. So actually, I want to be able to just click here whenever there's no image and activate the same function as this plus button, okay? And so let's find where we had that plus button. That was right, should have been right here. Let's see. Where did we have that? In the H stacks we had, yeah, there we go. The V stack right up here. So we needed the show sheet to toggle, okay? Show sheet toggle right there. So we can just grab that piece of the code. And we're going to come up here, make sure we close that. And then we can take all that and put it inside of the button, okay? So if I save that, saved it. And then I'm going to go ahead and fix this spacing right here really quick, and I'm going to make this the dark blue, the V dark blue, okay? So I'm going to go to submit. I'm going to find the submit recipe button we had. I'm going to make this background color be the V dark blue, okay? And then I'm going to go up to the H stack that had these two next to each other side by side, and I'm going to say spacing is 0. And I messed that up. That should actually be not at that should be right up here. Sorry. Right there. Okay, and that should be sufficient. Let's hit save. Oh, we want to do one other thing. So let's look here. We took care of that. I think I might have missed, I might have lost something here. So I'm just gonna go back a little bit. No, we still have everything. Okay. So since we got that, let's look back here. What I'm going to do, I made that, and then we need to finish doing the multi-line text alignment. So multi-line text alignment center and the frame width of infinity. So we'll make sure we have it on the add step, but make sure we also have it up here on the ingredient right here. Okay. So save that. All right, and then the other thing I want to do here is for this add new. For the ingredient one, I'm going to make it say plus ingredient. Okay, and I actually decided that what I want to do is I want to do a font of dot system dot system size of 12 and weight of bold. Okay, I want to give it a foreground color of dot white, and I want to give it a background color of dot of color dot medium. Actually, sorry, I got that wrong again. Of medium blue. Okay, that was one that we created together. So make sure we can see everything correctly. Okay, the padding on it that I'm actually going to put, I'm going to put a, let's say a 20 padding, standard padding. And then instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to say right here, I'm going to put dot frame height of, let's say 24, I think was the number I decided to stick with. And then we'll give it a corner radius of, let's just try 12 for now. Save it, run it, and let's see what we get. We'll see if we messed up any of that code anywhere. All right, there we go. All right, I think that looks really nice. I might give it just a tiny bit of a bottom padding, just the slightest bit of padding. Okay, and we'll say padding dot bottom 8. Okay, just the littlest bit. I'm gonna copy all that. Okay, I'm gonna go down to where we had steps. Then I'm just gonna say plus step. Okay, so now this one will look like that one. And I really like how this looks actually. So now I can click here and I can add some ingredients. I can click here and I can add some steps. This didn't refresh yet, but when I rerun it, it will. Let's just fix this image here. So I'm gonna go back. I don't like to see. I took the time to put a gradient, but this, since it was a PNG, it gave it the standard blue. So I'm just gonna go back to the pasta, and I'm gonna say dot render. Pretty sure this is what it is. Rendering mode is dot original. There we go. So now when I run it, we'll have both of those things updated, and then now we will move on to storing images and along with a recipe. Okay. This is where we get really fun, because now we actually get to start building an app in its entirety. We will feel like we're actually building an app in its entirety. We've been doing that the whole time, but so that looks nice, that looks nice, that looks nice. Everything is exactly what we want it to look like. Okay, so last thing we need to do is just kind of clean up one last thing, okay? So I'm going to make sure I give credit where I got that pasta icon from Flat Icon. So shout out to Goodware for creating that. That's an author from Flat Icon. And the next thing I need to do is, when I find that when I find the photo library, if I search for photo library here, previously we'd say choose a new image, we'd click photo library, and instead of showing the photo library, I actually instead want to show the saved photo albums, which looks like this. And the reason we're doing that is coming up right here. If we go back to where we have the image picker showing, this is where the image picker was, okay? If you scroll to the top of the image picker here, well, I'm trying to get rid of this cancel. That's what I'm getting rid of. And so I'm actually going to hide everything from here up to here, okay? And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to actually just tuck it up underneath. So first I need to get rid of this white space right here, okay? I'm going to do that by saying spacing of 0, okay? That's in the VStack that contains the image picker. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say the image picker is going to have an offset of -57 in the y dimension, okay? So right there, offset -57 in the y dimension, okay? So let's get rid of that. And then we did that. So the next thing is the contents here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this H stack. So the H stack, nothing's changed in the H stack, okay? But directly underneath the H stack, we're actually going to be putting, actually, I apologize. So this H stack is remaining as is. That's inside of the scroll view. I'm going to close that so we don't get confused. So previously we just had the scroll view. That's this piece right here. And underneath it directly was this, okay? What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to actually, in between those two things, I'm going to create a new H stack, okay? Okay, and that H stack is going to contain it's going to contain a button actually. Okay, I'm going to copy and we'll talk about it. Okay, it's going to contain a button. So that button, I'm going to get rid of the action just so we can talk about it piece by piece. There we go. So that button is just going to have text that says done, okay? And it's going to have a height of 57, a frame max width of dot infinity, which is going to let it occupy the entire space of the screen, okay? And it's going to have a background of white. The point is it just can't be clear, okay? And it's going to have a z-index of 1. Now the z-index of 1 is going to let it be on top of the picker, even though the picker is originally on top of it. Because if we were to put this and then take the image picker and move it up 57 pixels, then this would actually this would be on top until I put the z-index 1, because everything has a z-index of 0 unless you state otherwise. So when I give this a z-index of 1, z-index is kind of the plane of the screen, bring it in or on top or behind things. So by doing that, I actually pull it on top of the image picker, even though the image picker came next, okay? So when I save that, in the action, the last thing I need to do is what I'm going to do is that button is going to toggle show image picker. Sorry, dot toggle. There we go. After putting that toggle in, we just need to make sure that we actually take this whole frame 57, the width of infinity, all that. We need to make sure that that's not on the button, but rather it's on the H stack, okay? So if we save it, let's run it, and we should get exactly what we want. Run it. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the scroll view. While that's happening, I'm going to fix some aesthetics, last piece, and then we will put the image up into Firestore. Okay, photo library, boom. Now that ends exactly the way we want it to. We click done, and it hides. It's perfect, so we can even go here. Okay, we can pick one, say done, good to go, okay? I'm going to come here and just for each of these really quickly, I'm going to put a shadow of radius. I'll give it a radius of 3. Okay. I'm going to put that on the rectangle. I'm going to get rid of that blue. I'm going to make that clear. Or even, yeah, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that let's make it white. Okay, and then for this text.done, we'll make it done. And then we'll say font dot system. We'll say size 12, weight bold, and we'll give it. Let's find where we had the plus. Where we previously had put this. I like this a lot. So padding. I like everything about this format. So I'm actually just gonna, if anything, I'm just gonna like that. Padding. Sorry. Good, 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 good. I like all those. I'll just get rid of that. Save it. All right, run it. Everything should still look good. All right, and while radius. That should have been right there. We got an extra one of those right there. We ended up with just an extra one of these parentheses by accident. Look at it. Now it should look nice and clean, significantly cleaner. And then that scroll area up on the image picker, we'll be using that later. So say photo library. And man, that is looking a whole lot nicer, okay? So I can just click done. So this will actually contain the images that we choose when we allow it to select multiple images, okay? We'll just have a done right here, okay? Boom. We picked an image. Now, what we need to do is we need to set up the image storage. So I need to go to the internet. I need to click on my recipe project. I'll go to storage. And I need to get started on storage. And I will say next. Click done. And so now it's creating the default bucket. So once we get that set up, while that's working, we're going to actually also need to update our pod file. So I'll go find my pod file, and here it is, and it's already actually present right here. So I'm going to add one more piece. I don't like all this clutter, okay? I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to put pod, okay, and that one should have, let's look at our to-do here. Pretty sure I wrote it out. No biggie. I'm just going to put, I think it should be Firebase /storage. Okay. So now if I come back here, this is already ready to go. And I just go to rules. And for now, I'm going to make this available to the public. And I can get rid of that and just put a semicolon. I'll say publish. And now anyone can read and write to it. Okay, so I'm going to open up terminal. And if I do cd, and then I go all the way to, we got code tutorial recipe. So now I'm in the proper folder, and I'm just going to install the pod. It is going to, I was going to say no pod file, and I think that's actually because this is stored as a text right now, so it should say that. All right, that should be better. Let's go ahead and just say pod init. And it created a new one for us. There we go. So I'll go ahead and just open that pod file again. Open up that pod file. Something must have happened. So I'm just going to take the old pod file. I'm going to take all its contents. I'm going to put it into the new one. I will save it. And I'll try running that again. So pod install. So you can see the way I tackled that was I just initiated or init, whatever. I just made a new pod file, and then I ran by using pod init, and then I just installed. I just went ahead and installed it. Okay, so I can get rid of that one. Okay, and I can likely, let's just say by date modified. Okay, and we don't want this one anymore, so just get rid of this. Move to trash. Okay, and this one is still good. I'm just putting something in there so I know which one it is. So that's good. Looks like this one is done installing. Okay, and now I can go back to my to-do list, and I'll need to go to the page where I want to use the proper functions to store the image. So we're still on new post, right? So on new post view, so I'm going to import. Okay. Import Firebase. So actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this in helper funcs. So the same way I had in Firestore submit data, I'm going to make a new function called firefunc. I went ahead and actually wrote the whole thing out before. So upload image, okay? So let's grab it, and we'll talk about it piece by piece, okay? So the function called upload image, I need to feed it where I'm going to upload that image, okay? And I'm going to upload, I'm going to also include the UI image that I'm uploading, okay? And then inside the function, it's going to try to unwrap that or essentially turn it into JPEG data. It's going to extract the JPEG data. And then we're going to set up the storage where we're going to end up saving it. And we're going to, right now, we're going to have storage.reference. And then instead of child temp, we're going to put reference. I'm going to say reference string, and I'm going to change that up here, okay? And then we're going to say put data, image data. And then we're not going to put any metadata, and then it's just going to go ahead and try to do it. And if we get an error, it's essentially just going to run this right here. And so I'm going to keep one. I like this completion that we kept for later in case we want it. Okay, I'm going to put that right here. And what I'm going to say is, instead of saying any, I'm going to say this one right here. Let's see. Error should be type error question mark, and then this one I think, if I remember, let's put anything, okay? That should be storage metadata, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say strg metadata, okay? And I'm going to say it's actually going to be looking for storage metadata error. And make each of those optional. Okay, and I'm just going to put that in here. I'm going to say completion I'm going to put storage metadata error. Honestly, it's not even worth the trouble right now. We'll just stick with what we had previously, okay? We'll keep it like that. And then I'm going to copy that over as well. I'm just going to put that in here. All right, save it. Error. Okay. We'll save it. We'll run it. Nothing should be. Nothing should have changed really from an interface standpoint. So use of unresolved identifier storage. Let's get rid of that. So I think that's because we actually need to also import, in addition to Firebase, we need to import Firebase. Let's go ahead and just do this. Firebase storage. I'm still going to add that. We'll add it first and see what happens. Okay, yeah, that's kind of a weird quirk. So nothing should have changed. Everything still works well. And now I'm going to take this upload image, okay, that function, and I'm going to go to new post view. And if we go to where we were previously submitting the information online, so this Firestore submit data function, at that same point, I'm going to use the upload image function. And I'm going to have to declare, let's see, it's going to ask for the reference string, the image, and a completion handler, okay? So let's put a reference string of image data will be, we will put image, and then we will put this as the completion handler as well. We'll save it and we'll run it. Okay. Image data. Based on this, we didn't need the image. It wasn't image data. It was just image. So this should just say image right here. Image will say image. And I guess for the reference string, what we can do is we can make it say recipe, and then underscore. Put this. I'm gonna use this exact piece right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna put a 0, and that's to acknowledge the fact that at some point we will have more than one image per post, but right now there is just gonna be one, and it's gonna be the 0th one. In the future, for all images, it'll say underscore 0, underscore 1, underscore 2, etc. And we're going to force it for that because we have already checked that. Actually, we can just do, instead of just say this image, because we know that'll work without any sort of forcing. Save it, run it, okay? So now, I can go here and create a new recipe. Start by adding photo. I'm gonna pick this one, okay? Ingredients, I'm gonna say 1 cup of flour. I'm gonna say sift flour. Okay. Sift flour. Submit recipe. Image uploaded successfully. Data uploaded successfully. Okay. So we haven't really made any way for us to know that for a fact here, but let's just check for ourselves by going to the actual storage. Sure enough, here is the image we wanted. I mean, it's perfect. So that's the image we wanted with the name we asked for. Let's even just make sure that this lines up with the proper, the ID matches in the storage. So just remember the first A998 and maybe just a 682. A998, 682. A998, 682. All right. So here we got A998, and probably ends with 602, I'm sure. The odds of it not are slim. So the point is that we got the recipe fully uploaded here, and we have an easy way to grab the actual image corresponding to it from the storage bucket. Okay, so that was a success. In the next video, I guess we'll just keep moving. We'll decide what to do in the next one. See you then.